Hello everybody and welcome back to the shop. My name is Eric Leahy and welcome. Hope you guys are cozy and warm. Maybe you guys got something cozy and warm to drink like tea or coffee. And we're back in the shop with a pretty big video. Now this video is on the art installation I did for Paisley. This is stuff I've been posting on my Instagram and on Facebook, and it's something I'm super proud of. This is the largest thing I've ever built, and it's the most complex thing I've ever built, and it was super exciting to make. It's based on Wonderland. It's called Down the Rabbit Hole, and this is the original drawing. Hopefully you can see that. There it is. There's the original drawing that I made, and this is the drawing I sent in. Not only that, but we had to make two drawings to submit, and this was one that I made a while back that I really liked. See if I can get it there in frame. There we go. So there's the other one called the Wise One, an owl sculpture. It's kind of cloaked, and I would texture the outside kind of like wood. And then there was Down the Rabbit Hole. But anyway, we're going to get right into the video, and I'm going to pop up into the top corner like I usually do. So here it is, sculpting Down the Rabbit Hole for the Paisley Art Installation 2023. So it's started around mid-June, and it's going to about mid-October. This is featured in Willow P. Clark in Paisley, Ontario. You're welcome to check it out and go see it anytime. And I'm super excited, super proud, and it was a lot of fun. So I got all the pieces. I'm starting to sand up. This is the stuff for the base and making the actual base platform. Now those letters are actually from my old job at the sign company. So I was just putting the giant A's on either side and trying to fix this piece together. It's made from stainless and some other pieces of scrap metal to kind of come together and make this massive base, because the base needs to be about 3 feet long-ish. And now we're going to start the forge for the first day of forging. We're going to fire it up, get it lit, and then we're going to turn on the blower and start it going. Now, in the beginning of this, I started with a lot of filming, and it was a lot of just the scrolling process, so you're going to see a lot of that. And it's going to get a little bit sloppier near the end. I'm sorry. I am trying, I swear. And my messy shop, of course. Now, my shop is so small that I'm like scratching my head on the roof. Every time I go to hammer, I'm hitting the roof. So I'm using the horn to kind of draw things out. This is more of an example of what you can do to draw out thick material like this. You can use a cross peen with the horn to pinch it out even faster. You can use the flat of the hammer or the rounding of your hammer on the horn to draw things out quicker. I'm just using my cross peen with a sharp cross peen to really push that metal out really fast and draw that material out to a long point. Now in this I actually do want to draw the material out longer, because I'm going to start scrolling that and spiraling that right up. And this is going to be the central spiral that the rabbit will eventually get fixed to. So now I'm just relieving those corners. Sorry for the messy shop. Oh my god, I forget how messy it really looks until I see my videos. Now we're starting the scroll. So off the edge of the anvil, we're going to walk the material off the edge of the anvil while we hit it glancing blows at 45-degree angles, and it's going to start to give us a gentle curl like that, and then knock it back in on itself to push that metal back in and scroll it and start the whole spiraling process. Here we go again, trying to just true that up and make it a little bit nicer, knock it back on itself. You're going to see it really start to curl, just like that. Flatten everything, make sure it looks really nice. Yeah. Now I would really like to do a couple more of these in the future. It'd be really nice to get more into doing sculptures. I really like blacksmithing knives. I really like it, but there's something about art that I really like doing. I'm really passionate when it comes to blacksmithing art. So being able to showcase something to people that I made was super awesome. And I can't say it enough. I can't stress it enough how proud I am of it. I put a lot of effort into it. Now, I did procrastinate for a little while, and I had other projects I was working on, like the axe and all kinds of stuff. So I was busy, but you know, it is what it is. Now I'm using a technique here that I love using for thick material. Now this is 1/4 inch thick by 1.5 inch wide by about 3 feet long lengths. I ended up switching to about 4 or 6 feet lengths. I can't remember which. I think it was 6 feet lengths. Just because I need a lot more material. But when you're moving material this thick, it's easier on you if you just let gravity do the work and let the material work for you instead of you having to hammer it all the time. So if I'm doing curves, a good smack will get it to curve naturally. and use gravity to your advantage. And I use that all the time. You'll see this throughout most of the video. If I'm doing curved knives, or I'm trying to put a bend in a knife, gravity is the best way to do it. And especially, it doesn't add as much dings as a hammer would if you're putting pressure with the hammer on the metal. This is a nicer way of keeping things true, keeping things nice, and you don't need to flatten as much with it. Hammering it really crunches the material, makes it kind of crinkle. But with this method, it naturally wants to fall, so there's less straightening you actually need to do. Unless you hit the bottom block of wood that's right there, but, you know, it is what it is. Whoa, and almost hit myself. Whoa, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. So you're starting to see the scroll start to come into place now. It's quite large. Like, I'm spiraling 3 feet of solid material, so it's a lot of length. So not to hit that block there, I went over the horn to help wrap it along, and then drew it up with the hammer, get it kind of where I want it to be. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Now, when I was designing this sculpture, I started with the wise one, the owl sculpture, and I absolutely loved it. I love the owl sculpture. I designed it way back, like 2 years ago, when they asked me to do a sculpture, but that was during COVID, and they wanted to go for dinner and a meet the artist kind of thing, and I wasn't quite comfortable, so I said no, but I got recommended by David Robertson again, and I took it this time. Now, this is a method I was using of both showing you that, like, it took really, really long, so I just kind of sped it up to showcase that, but also smacking on that bottom plate that I have. Again, it's another way of using gravity to help curl it, of letting it drop and smacking it downwards on it. Flipping it around, trying to do the same thing again. It's a lot of the same thing. I filmed a lot of the same thing. And this is heavy, heavy material. It takes a long time to heat up. It cools down relatively fast. And there it is, fully spiraled, of the first section of 2. And of course, it cut off my Instagram tag, but it's Eric Leahy 1998. I posted a lot there. Go check it out if you're interested, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And this is day 2, where I grab another piece of material, and I believe I'm starting the second part to the spiral that will finish that off. And I believe I also start the ribbon portion that spirals all the way up the scroll and around the rabbit. But to finish a thought, when I designed this, I designed it after I did the wise one, and I wanted to keep kind of a whimsical theme. Nat really thought that it would be kind of like Alice in Wonderland, so I thought, Alice in Wonderland, why don't I just do that? That's smart, that's brilliant, just do it. So I designed an Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole themed sculpture. And the rabbit, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. Didn't know if I wanted to cut it out and make a silhouette, put it all together and make like a fully 3D sculpted rabbit, or leave them separated as 2 halves. And you'll see near the end what I decided to do, and added things that were not in my drawing that you'll get to see later on as well, because I had a little extra time. So to finish off the rest of the spiral, I need to connect these 2 pieces, so I have to kind of sculpt this to match the curve roughly. I didn't care too much if it was like exact or not. It's art. Let it be art kind of thing. But this is heavy material, so it's hard to move. I'm trying to get this sculpted far enough that it lines up pretty close with the rest of the spiral and continues the spiral before it becomes the path that will have the rabbits welded to. So I found where I wanted the rabbits roughly to be, where the kink's going to be, so I just set that in really, really well and started that bend. And I'm trying to get it in quickly because this metal cools pretty fast on my anvil. The anvil is a heat sink, so it does draw that heat away from my material. So I gotta make sure that it's quick, because this is heavy material and I'm striking on the side that's gonna want to resist my hammer blows the most. If I was striking on the flat, trying to bend it over, it'd be totally fine. But since I'm striking with all that length of 1/2 inches, I'm having to fight with that without having it crinkle or bend on me and having to true it up all the time. So now since I got it roughly close, I flip it around and I'm trying to compress this material. Now I'm compressing this material not using the cross peen, not like the other piece. The reason being is I don't want to draw it out. I want to condense the material in and upset it so it's thicker. I want it to be like 1/2 inch wide, but like half an inch thick. Like I just want it to almost become square stock. So you're seeing me do that there, where I'm setting that in, and it's gonna draw it out anyway a little bit, but that's totally fine. I mostly just want it condensed down a little bit. And the reason being is this is the connection point that's going to attach to the actual base. So I want it to be thicker, sturdier, and not really wanting to bend a whole lot. That's something I'm trying to resist doing. There is a part in here where it kind of snips in a weird cut. I know it's a weird cut, and it starts the portion of the ribbon. This isn't it, I don't think, but it's getting there. There's the bend that I'm putting in it. That's going to connect to the base. And so I'm just putting a gentle curve, just a gentle little curve in there. And I'm not too worried about putting dings in it because it is supposed to be organic. It is technically supposed to be the dirt that the rabbit's walking on, so it's okay if it's got some marks, some dings. Let that be. Let it be what it wants to be, you know? And, yeah. Some nice glancing blows to really push it down. So this is the weird cut. So this is the other piece I tapered that I probably filmed but then forgot to add. Same kind of taper thing, but I just didn't add it, I guess. Because it's not this. This is different. There's two different things going on. And I know it's really confusing, and I'm sorry that's in my editing. I am trying, but that was a different piece. That's the start of the ribbon. So since I hit it off the side, now I'm starting to offset that point that I made, that kink that I made. Now it's offset, and I'm starting to scroll that up, and that's going to create the ribbon. So I'm tilting at a really steep angle. I'm using the horn. I'm offsetting it by laying it flat and hitting half on, half off, or fully off, just on the material, to try to separate the spiral away from the rest of the material and really draw that spiral out, while also trying to scroll it at the same time. It's a big process and it's thick material, so I'm really fighting with it, and you're going to see later on down the line how springy it can be. Now we're back to the rest of the ground portion that the rabbit will be on, that will continue off the rest of the spiral, and we're just adding a gentle curve to it so it's not so straight, not so flat, make it look a little more organic. Back to the spiral again, but we're using gravity. Again, we're using gravity to help curl that around, and it makes it so much easier on yourself, especially if you wear impact gloves. It helps a lot when you wear impact gloves. But gravity is the way to go with big material like this. Don't bother hammering it or trying to fight with it. Gravity starts it, just finish it off with the hammer. It's so much easier. And you'll see that I'm going to try to make that end that I made a little bit thicker kind of stick out a little bit more directly out from the spiral. At some point I will try to straighten that out a little bit, I think. I can't quite remember if I do or not. I had plans to. And there it is, fully off, trying to separate the spiral away from itself, or the scroll away from itself. And to get that spiral going, I tilt it basically at a 45-degree angle, so it's causing the material to twist on purpose. This is a time where I actually want the material to twist. Unlike making a knife, you don't want your knife to twist. So you got to make sure it's flat. But in this instance, I actually do want it to twist offset. So we're kind of working away at that. And this took a lot. Like, there's like 4 pieces of this scroll that I did. And they all had to come together. And since my shop is so small and so tiny, I actually had to make it all out of separate pieces and weld them together. I originally had plans to make this all out of one piece. Same with the big scroll, make it from one piece. The ribbon, make it from one piece. But unfortunately my shop doesn't have the room for that, and I don't have an open top forge, like a coal forge, that I can spot heat and bend things as I go along. I can't do that in my propane forge. So that really sucks, but it is what it is. I worked with what I got, and I produced something I got to install in the end, which is one of the most amazing things. I still can't get over it because I'm very impressed with myself. This is the first installation I ever did. This is the biggest thing I've ever made, and it's going to be definitely something I'm going to be very proud of for a very long time. Now this is putting the 2 pieces side by side to see how it goes and if I want to change anything. The spirals, or the ribbon here, is almost done. I'm getting down to the end of the wire here, and It doesn't look like a lot. It doesn't look very big, but it's a lot of material. And of course, you gotta play with your hammers. I love playing with my hammers and hiding. Hi, everybody. Hello. Everybody watching. Hello. Yeah, it doesn't look like a lot of material is there, but that's 3 feet worth of length that's now scrolled up, spiraled. And I have a whole lot more to go. So that's that. I probably have total in that, I want to say 16 feet worth of material or more in just the ribbon alone. In the scroll, I want to say is about 7 feet worth of material in there total. Nice artsy fartsy zoom out to show you the full thing. Now the spirals or the scroll's getting a little bit too large so I actually can't quench it in my own shop. I don't have a quench bucket big enough. So we're taking it out to the lake to cool it down so I can actually manipulate it and see where I want to go with it, lay it out on my template with everything else, figure out what I need to do with it next. So this is kind of the piece by piece kind of thing that I was doing. Same artsy fartsy, there's the drawing, there's what I have so far, just kind of propped up with a hammer. And that's the beginning to the ribbon, and I got the scroll welded up, and that's what it looks like in the hand. It's really not as big as it looks. Like it's tiny. That's 3 feet worth of length though. 3 feet is a lot of length. There's the next section I added, and you can see how bendy it is. So imagine as this gets longer and gets bigger, and as I'm starting to cool it down and I'm forging it and it looks dull orange to like cherries, you'd think that you can still kind of bend it. But no, it doesn't let you do that. It's getting to the point where it's so springy that it's throwing my hammer back, super scary. But we're gonna cool it off again because I added the next part to it. And we're gonna cool it off again and see how it looks. Now I planned to do this sculpture in about 8 days. I was fortunate that even though I procrastinated, I still planned it out really, really well. That I was able to complete it in a short period of time because I planned, got the material I needed, calculated how much material roughly I would need, and I scheduled what point I need to be in for my sculpture at a certain day, certain time, so I can follow a set path. These are the rabbits I cut out of stainless. That heart that you see on there was welded by my soon-to-be wife. We're getting married in 2 weeks, and she welded that heart. So I kept it on the rabbit as a sentimental thing. I ground off the one that I showed her, but I kept the one on there that she did because I know she's proud of it. She did that, and I'm super proud of her. And it's awesome that she likes to do shop stuff with me. Maybe we'll get to do more shop stuff in the future, and you'll get to see her. So there's more stuff, more sculpting of the rabbits, making sure it looks good. Now I tried really hard to do artsy-fartsy shots for you, okay? I'm really trying my editing here. I'm pushing my limits to the absolute max so far, and I'm still learning so much more every day. I want to get better at my editing, and you're going to see how much I'm really trying here in just a second. So there's the 2 rabbits, got the 2 halves, one sculpted roughly, and bang, there's the other one. Look at that, look at that. Look at that transition, right? Right? I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that transition. I think I did pretty well on that. And that heart looks so good, and it fits so well with like Queen of Hearts. It adds to the whole thing of Down the Rabbit Hole. So we're walking out to take a look at all the pieces, and at this stage, I decided what I wanted to do with the rabbits. And there it is, artsy fartsy again. There's the rabbits welded on, roughly. They're like tack welded on, but I decided to keep them separate. And it follows the same theme so well of losing your mind down the rabbit hole. Because now you got both halves of the rabbits completely split in half. When you look dead on like this, it just looks like 2 wavy, curly pieces of metal like that there. It just looks weird. And then you rotate to the side, either side doesn't matter, and it just becomes a rabbit. And it just adds another whole layer to the insanity, losing your mind down the rabbit hole. And it just looks incredible. All the pieces that come together. Now the spring was so springy, I actually couldn't position it. So I actually had to grab a ratchet strap, as you can see there, and strap it in. And I'm coming out with the final piece to the ribbon. The final piece. And I'm just trying to figure out where it needs to go. Now that top piece that sticks out by the square tubing with the little scroll on top, which I didn't end up showing because there was no real forging on it. It was just square stock I added a scroll to, so it's not much to really show. I ended up changing that little fan piece out the top. It didn't look right. I didn't like how it was. It didn't look like the drawing, and you'll see I ended up cutting it off and changing it, and it looks a lot more like the drawing, and it makes me a lot happier, and I added a lot more to it near the end. So there's the drawing, the original drawing I showed in the beginning of the video, and there it is, all tack welded up, or fully welded up in a sense. And this thing's like 3.5, almost 4 feet tall by maybe 3 feet long and about a foot wide or so. And I got the holes drilled. Now, if you're going to do a sculpture like this, I recommend doing what I did. And if you're doing a steel base, take a piece of stock that's like 1/8 inch, do a paper template, center punch the paper template, drill your holes, and then mount that plate to your base and drill through. It'll make your holes so much more lined up and perfect. And since I had extra time, I made some flowers, just like how I made the rose for my fiance, soon-to-be wife. But this time, we used flat stock that is cut into squares, and instead of putting the cuts in it, like I did the rose and stacking it, I just kept them as single layers, ball painted over, and then did some center punches. And I didn't put the cuts in to make them kind of overlap, I left them kind of flat. And I think it adds quite a bit, so I added those, and I also added some mushrooms to kind of, spice things up, because the ribbon is supposed to be technically the hole. It's supposed to be the ground falling away and the rabbits going down it. So I added the flowers to it, and the mushrooms, because I love mushrooms, and I think in the next sculpture I do, I really, really, really want to make a giant mushroom sculpture, called like the Spore King or something. Would be really cool. So that's the fan that I did, the little end on the top. I wrapped it around one more time, and it just looks so much better. It adds to the whole thing. I kept the welds because why not? Let it be what it is. I didn't bother sanding it down or taking those away. I just think it looks so much better. I added my logo to the base there, and I added 4 small plates. Now those small plates have words, and they're all numbered. Now if you go along and you you go in the sequence of the numbers and you put the words together, you'll get a riddle. If you answer that riddle correctly, you will win something from the shop for free. Well, you'll get a chance to win. It's a raffle, it'll end in October, and you might have a chance to win a small mushroom sculpture, a bottle opener, or a leaf pendant. So you'll get a chance to win one of 3 prizes, and it also gives you a reason to come out and check it out, because, I'm super proud of it. I want to have people come out and see it, and I want to make it more interactive. I want people to enjoy it, and no, I won't tell you what the riddle is on this video. I want you to come out, take a look at it, find it for yourself, and come up with the riddle, answer, send it to me anyway through Instagram, Facebook, email. The best way you can send it to me, send it to me. But also, don't give it away, guys. Make it fun for everybody. Now, I did also hide a couple things on this. They may be gone now, may not be. So if you go check out the sculpture, you may find a couple things that I've hidden around it. They may be leaf pendants, who knows, or keychains. But you're gonna have to go see. You have to go find them. But that's down the rabbit hole. And I've now painted the base black, and I clear coated it. And I am so proud of it. So I'm gonna pause it right there and do a little more chatting before we end this video. Go away. Go away. No? Doesn't want to do that? That's fine. So there I am. We finally installed it. Not only did I install a sculpture, but a guy I also went to school with in blacksmith school. His name's Dustin. He also did one called the Phoenix. You can go check out his as well. He did a fantastic job. And it was a lot of fun. I really liked spending time putting this in. I really like the feedback, so thank you guys so much for supporting me as an artist and giving me all positive feedback on Instagram, Facebook. I absolutely love it. And I've been waiting a while to do this video. I've wanted to make a video about this for a while. I was thinking about doing it in separate parts, but then I decided eventually that I will just make a full-fledged video in the end, as it's just fully completed. So that's what I did. There you go. And I don't know what else to say about it. I'm just super proud and excited, and thank you Thank you to everybody. You guys are awesome. Yeah, that's Down the Rabbit Hole. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, like, comment, subscribe. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. It always helps out the channel as much as possible. I'm so excited. So, go check it out. Willow Creek Park in Paisley, Ontario. You'll see it. It's basically road front. There's 2 sculptures there, me and Dustin's. And yeah, go check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. And as always, stay cozy.